Ladies and gentlemen, the future is not written in stone. It's a blank canvas waiting for your first brushstroke. What you do today, right now, shapes the masterpiece of your tomorrow. Life doesn't pause for hesitation. It rewards those who act with courage and conviction. So let's not wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is this one. Every decision you make in this moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, holds the power to shape your future. The present is not just a passing moment, it is the foundation of everything that will come after. Time doesn't wait for anyone. It's constantly moving, flowing forward, and it doesn't care if you're ready or not. You can either be swept up in the current, or you can take control of your actions and direct the course of your life. This moment right now is where you hold the power. The future is not some distant, unattainable place. It is unfolding before you in real time. If you choose to act in the present, you lay the groundwork for what's to come. Every step you take today is a choice, a declaration of who you are and who you intend to become. It's easy to get lost in the distractions, to think that the big decisions can wait, that there's always tomorrow to take action. But the truth is, tomorrow will only be a reflection of what you do today. The actions you take or don't take today will echo through your life in ways you can't fully comprehend. And in the grand scheme of things, there is no greater power than the choices you make in this very moment. Time doesn't slow down, and opportunities don't stand still, waiting for you to be ready. If you're not paying attention, they pass you by. So in this very instant, seize the opportunity to act. You don't need the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect timing, because in reality, there is no such thing. All you have is this moment, and how you use it will determine everything that comes next. You don't need to move mountains to make a difference. The journey toward great change is rarely a single, grand leap forward. It's built on small steps, each one carefully chosen, each one a commitment to progress, no matter how incremental it may seem. The temptation is to believe that significant transformation requires a giant shift, but that's not the truth. Real growth often comes from the quiet, persistent actions we take, one after another. Think about it, a river doesn't carve a canyon overnight. It takes years, even centuries, of tiny drops of water, slowly but surely wearing down the rock. It's not the force of a single drop, but the consistency of many. The same principle applies to your life. Every little effort you make, every small decision to act, piles up over time. What might seem insignificant today can, in hindsight, be the thing that changes everything. It's in the little acts of courage, of persistence, of effort, that you build the path to your dreams. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the idea that you need to do it all at once, that the outcome has to be monumental from the start. But the truth is, those grand outcomes are often the result of countless small actions that no one sees. If you only focus on the end goal, you might miss the power of the journey. It's those small, steady steps, done with intention, that give you the stamina and direction you need to reach where you want to go. When you focus on making consistent progress, you begin to notice how much you've actually achieved. And what seemed like an insurmountable challenge becomes a series of manageable, even simple tasks. You'll find that what you once thought was out of your reach is now within your grasp, simply because you didn't give up after the first, second, or third try. Every action, no matter how small, brings you closer to the change you desire. It's the compounding effect of small steps that leads to big results. So, start now. Take the first step, and then the next. You'll be amazed at how far you can go without ever having to make a leap. Fear, often seen as something to avoid, can actually be one of your greatest guides. It's not something that stands in your way as much as it is a signpost pointing you toward the very areas where you have the potential to grow. The things that scare you are often the things that, if faced head-on, can transform you. It's easy to listen to that inner voice telling you to play it safe, to stay in the comfort zone where everything feels secure. But that's not where growth happens. Growth comes when you step into the unknown, when you challenge yourself beyond your limits, when you face the fear that's been holding you back. Fear isn't something to be conquered in the sense that you eliminate it altogether. Rather, it's something you learn to work with. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to control you. It's a natural response to uncertainty, but it's also a signal that you're on the brink of something new. Every time you feel that tension, that hesitation, Ask yourself, what if this is the very thing that takes me to the next level? What if the fear is simply a sign that I'm on the edge of growth, and all I have to do is take one more step forward? Most people avoid fear because they don't want to feel uncomfortable. But the truth is, discomfort is often the breeding ground for the most profound transformation. The things you're afraid of are often the things that will make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient once you face them. If you allow fear to dictate your choices, you'll find yourself standing still, missing out on opportunities for growth. But if you embrace fear as a companion on your journey, you'll realize it's not the enemy, it's a teacher. When you act despite fear, when you move through it instead of around it, you build courage. Every time you take that step, you rewire your brain to understand that fear does not have to be a barrier. It becomes a challenge to rise above, a reason to push harder, to do the things that once seemed impossible. And in that process, you start to realize something profound: fear never disappears, but neither does your ability to overcome it. And that's when real change begins. Waiting for permission is one of the most common ways people hold themselves back. We're conditioned from a young age to seek approval, to wait for someone else to tell us that we're worthy, that we're ready. But the truth is, no one is going to hand you the keys to your future. The permission you seek doesn't come from someone else, it comes from within. It's about recognizing that you don't need to wait for validation to take action. You are the authority in your own life, and your decisions, your dreams are yours to pursue without needing anyone's approval. The moment you decide that you're going to act, regardless of external validation, is the moment your life begins to shift. You're not waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect circumstances, or for someone to give you the green light. You're creating those conditions. You're saying, this is my time. I am ready. I don't need anyone else to tell me what I can do. I am capable of more than I've been told, more than I've even believed. This kind of self-empowerment is freeing. It frees you from the chains of doubt, fear, and insecurity that are often wrapped up in the need for permission. It allows you to step into your greatness without hesitation. Yes, others may have opinions, and yes, they may offer advice or guidance. But at the end of the day, it's your path. Your life is yours to shape, to mold, and to decide upon. And when you stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're worthy, you'll find that the world responds differently. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will start appearing, not because someone gave you permission to take them, but because you decided you were ready to claim them. Don't wait for someone else to recognize your potential. The world isn't going to hand you success on a silver platter. You must stand up, speak up, and make it happen. The most successful people aren't necessarily the ones who have been given the green light. They are the ones who created their own opportunities by believing in themselves first. Take action, and you'll discover that the permission you've been waiting for has always been within you. Clarity doesn't arrive by waiting for the perfect moment. It comes when you start moving. There's a common misconception that we need to have everything figured out before we take a single step. We often tell ourselves, once I know exactly what I'm doing, then I'll act. But the truth is, that kind of clarity rarely appears out of thin air. It's found in the process of doing. You won't know exactly where you're going until you start walking down the road. You may not have all the answers, but the act of moving forward begins to show you the way. It's like standing at the edge of a foggy path. If you wait for the fog to clear completely, you may stand there forever, paralyzed by uncertainty. But when you take that first step, the fog begins to lift. Each action you take, each choice you make gradually brings things into focus. You begin to see what works and what doesn't, what brings you closer to your goal and what takes you off course. And in that moment, the fog doesn't matter anymore. What matters is the movement, the action that propels you forward. Action is the force that turns confusion into clarity. It's easy to feel stuck when you're trying to figure everything out before you act. But no amount of planning, no amount of theorizing will give you the full picture. The only way to truly gain clarity is through experience. Every step you take, every decision you make, refines your understanding, sharpens your vision, and allows you to see the next steps more clearly. It's also important to remember that clarity isn't a one-time event. It's a process, something that unfolds over time. As you act, your purpose becomes clearer, your direction becomes sharper. The more you move, the more you realize what's working and what's not, and you adjust accordingly. You don't need a perfect plan, a perfect moment, or even perfect confidence. You just need to start. The rest will fall into place along the way, and the clarity you seek will reveal itself as you continue forward. Failure is often seen as a setback, a roadblock, something that signals we're on the wrong path. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is an essential part of the journey. In fact, it's through failure that we learn, grow, and develop the resilience needed to ultimately succeed. The road to any significant achievement is paved with mistakes, missteps, and even some downright failures. It's what you do in the face of those failures that defines your future. When you fail, it's easy to feel defeated, to believe that your efforts were in vain. But failure is never wasted. It's in those moments of struggle that the greatest lessons are taught. You learn what doesn't work, what needs to be adjusted, and what you must do differently moving forward. Every time you fall, you rise stronger, more equipped, and more prepared for the next challenge. Failure is the furnace in which you're forged. Without it, there's no progress. Without it, you remain stagnant, untouched by the transformative power that failure offers. It's also important to understand that failure doesn't define you, it refines you. It's not a reflection of your worth or your potential, but rather an indication of how hard you're willing to work, how much you're willing to risk, and how much you believe in your own ability to get back up. The successful people in life are not those who have avoided failure, they are the ones who have failed the most and kept going. They didn't let failure break them, they let it teach them. They didn't take failure as a signal to stop, they saw it as a stepping stone, a necessary part of the process. Embracing failure means embracing growth. It means accepting that mistakes are part of the process, not the end of the journey. Every time you face failure, you have a choice. You can either allow it to hold you back, or you can choose to learn from it, adjust, and move forward with renewed strength and understanding. The key is not to let failure stop you. Instead, use it as fuel to keep moving, keep striving, and keep pursuing your goals. The greatest successes are often built upon the lessons learned from past failures. So don't fear failure, welcome it, because it's in those moments that your true growth begins. Every action you take has an impact, even when you can't see it. Life is full of moments where we might think that our efforts go unnoticed, or that the small things we do don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But the truth is, every choice you make ripples out into the world, often in ways you can't imagine. You may never fully understand the extent of your influence, but that doesn't change the fact that you are always shaping the world around you. When you make decisions, whether they're big or small, whether they seem important or not, they don't only affect your life, they have a broader impact. The people you come into contact with are influenced by your energy, your actions, your words. You may never know how much someone needed a kind word or a moment of encouragement. You might not realize how a decision you made in private affected someone else's path. The effect is often invisible, but it's real. And while the consequences of your actions may not always be immediately clear, they accumulate over time. Think of a single drop of water falling into a still pond. At first, it seems like a small thing, insignificant even. But the ripple it creates spreads far beyond the point of impact. That's how your actions work. Whether you realize it or not, you're constantly creating ripples. When you make a conscious effort to lead with integrity, to act with kindness, or to choose actions that align with your values, those ripples extend far beyond you, touching others in ways you'll never see. Sometimes it's the quiet, unspoken things you do that make the biggest difference. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that you need to do something monumental to make an impact. But the reality is, it's the accumulation of your consistent choices that has the most profound effect. What may seem like an insignificant action, done repeatedly, can change someone's life in ways you'll never fully understand. The world doesn't need another person waiting for the perfect moment to make a change. It needs people who are willing to take action, no matter how small, and trust that their efforts will make a difference. You may never see the full scope of your influence, but that doesn't diminish its power. The choices you make matter, not just for you, but for everyone around you. And the impact you have on others doesn't stop when you stop paying attention. It keeps going. The ripples you create today will continue to spread, affecting lives in ways you'll never fully comprehend. So never underestimate the power of your actions, even the small ones. You may not see the immediate results, but rest assured, they're there, quietly shaping the world. The journey to success is rarely a straight line. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments when it feels like the path ahead is unclear. But what truly separates those who make it and those who don't is the ability to keep going when things get tough. It's in those moments of struggle, when you feel like giving up, that your character is truly tested. The question is not whether you'll face challenges that is inevitable. The real question is whether you'll quit when it gets hard or whether you'll press on, even when it seems like there's no way forward. There will be times when the weight of your goals feels too heavy to carry. You'll encounter situations that challenge your patience, your faith, and your resolve. You might feel like you're not making progress, that you're stuck in one place, spinning your wheels. It's in these moments that many people choose to give up. They believe the struggle is too great, the challenge is insurmountable. But what they don't realize is that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger, to learn something new, and to prove to yourself that you have the resilience to keep going. Sometimes the most difficult part of the journey is not the task itself, but the internal battle, the voices inside your head telling you to quit, to settle for less, to take the easy way out. But the greatest victories are often won not by avoiding those struggles, but by facing them head on. When you push through the discomfort, when you refuse to give in to the urge to stop, that's when you're truly growing. You're not just learning how to succeed in your goals, you're learning how to overcome the doubts and fears that try to hold you back. Persistence is not about never feeling defeated, it's about moving forward despite those feelings. It's about refusing to let the setbacks define you or dictate your actions. When you keep going, even when you feel like you can't, you discover a strength within yourself that you never knew existed. And with every step you take, you get closer to the person you're meant to become. The key is to never let the hard moments convince you that you've reached the end. They are not the end, but a challenge to rise to. Every time you face a hardship, you have an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you think. You are capable of pushing through, of persevering, of not letting anything stop you from achieving what you've set out to do. The struggle is not a sign that you should give up. It's a sign that you are on the right path. Keep going, and you will find that the reward on the other side is worth every step. The only way to achieve real success is to embrace the truth nobody else is coming to do the work for you. You have to take responsibility for your own journey. The path you walk is yours to create, and that means you must be the one to take the first step, to push through the obstacles, and to make the hard decisions. There is a tendency in all of us to look for someone or something external to blame when things don't go right. We want to point fingers, to find excuses, to wait for others to come along and help us when we stumble. But true success doesn't come from relying on others. It comes from recognizing that the power to change your circumstances lies within you. You are the architect of your own future. The foundation for your success starts with the choices you make today. It's not the circumstances you were born into. It's not the opportunities you were given. It's not the people around you. What matters is what you do with what you have and how you choose to move forward with it. You can't wait for the perfect moment or for someone to hand you the perfect solution. You have to take ownership of your dreams and your actions, because no one else can do that for you. The power you have is in your ability to control your response to the world around you. Life will throw challenges at you. People will disappoint you. The world may seem like it's working against you at times. But what matters is how you choose to react to those challenges. Will you allow the obstacles to define you, or will you rise above them, knowing that you alone have the power to shape your future? Taking responsibility doesn't mean that everything will always be in your control. There will be moments when things fall apart, when the odds seem stacked against you. But in those moments, you still have control over how you respond. You decide whether to rise or to stay down. You decide whether to keep moving forward or to quit. It's easy to blame others when things aren't going right, but it's empowering to accept that you hold the key to your own future. That kind of responsibility frees you to take charge of your destiny. The truth is, no one else can truly see or understand your vision the way you do. You are the one who has the passion, the drive, the purpose behind your goals. No one can feel what you feel, or dream what you dream, or put in the work that only you can put in. You are the only one who can move your life forward. And when you take full ownership of that, you'll find that you're no longer waiting for permission, or for help, or for things to fall into place. You'll be taking action, creating momentum, and making progress on your own terms. It's time to stop waiting for someone to save you and to step into the power that you already have. You are the one who gets to write the story of your life, and it's up to you whether it's one of success, growth, and fulfillment, or one of regret and missed opportunities. Take full responsibility for where you are and where you want to go, and you'll find that the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. Time is the one resource you can never get back, the one thing that doesn't wait for anyone. Once it's gone, it's gone. Yet many people live as if they have all the time in the world, putting off their dreams, their goals, and the things that truly matter. They delay the things they know are important, telling themselves there will always be a better time, a better moment to start. But the truth is, there is no better time than now. Time is ticking, and the longer you wait, the further you move from the life you want to live. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. Some of us choose to use those hours wisely, taking action, making progress, and setting the foundation for a future we can be proud of. Others waste it, not realizing that those moments are slipping away. Time doesn't stop. It doesn't pause for you to catch up. It moves forward, whether you're ready or not. And while you can't control how much time you have, you do control what you do with it. Procrastination is one of the greatest enemies of success, because it tricks you into believing you have more time than you actually do. It convinces you to put things off until tomorrow, and tomorrow turns into next week, and next week turns into next month. Before you know it, years have gone by, and you look back and wonder why you didn't take action sooner. Every moment that you put off today is one less moment you have to build your future. The truth is, the best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time is right now. There is power in now. There is power in deciding today that you will take action, that you will move towards your dreams. The future is shaped by the decisions you make in the present. Every step you take today is a step towards the person you want to become. Every minute you waste is a minute that can never be reclaimed. But every minute you use wisely, every minute you spend on your growth, your vision, your purpose brings you closer to the life you've been waiting for. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to wait for all the stars to align. What you need to do is take the first step. You need to commit to the journey and trust that as you move forward, the path will become clearer. The work you put in today will pay off tomorrow. But if you don't start today, you'll never see that payoff. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect moment, or the perfect plan. The perfect time is now. And the first step is simply to act, to move forward, to make progress, no matter how small. Every action you take now builds momentum. And that momentum will carry you through the hard times, the moments of doubt, and the obstacles that will inevitably come your way. But without that first step, without acting now, you're left waiting. Waiting for a future that will never come, unless you take control of it today. The world doesn't need another dream deferred. It needs people willing to act, to dare, and to make a difference. So act now. Don't just hope for a better tomorrow, create it.